Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. It's that time again.
You know what I've been thinking about lately? Like what all podcasters do that we never do?
What's that?
We don't introduce ourselves.
Oh, my. Yeah, I forgot
Hi,
about
everyone. I am Julietta, founder of Body and Soul Ministries, and here with my lovely co-host.
I'm Doris, along as an elder of Body and Soul Ministries.
Yeah. Do you
We're
like that
here.
title?
That's awesome.
Tell me about this mug that you have today. This is something
Okay.
new.
So we're sipping cacao out of our favorite mugs, and every once in a while we got to get a new mug out. And so, in honor of today's show, I have my sister mug. Years ago, when these came out on probably Facebook, right? It says, side by side or miles apart, sisters will always be connected by heart. And I have my oldest
I
sister,
assume you're the one on the
middle. I'm the youngest.
Yes. Okay.
I'm the youngest
I
sister.
assume that was you.
Two olders. Yeah.
And you want to know something really weird? I have to say, like, because I've met both of your brothers.
Oh.
Have I ever even met either your sisters? I don't think I've met them. And like in my mind, like I forget that you even have sisters.
I know. Right. That's true. You haven't. They live in New York. So why would you, right? We're in Florida. And one of these days I'll have to make that happen. I'm going to go up July, right? And I've met, well, your brother for sure. And I've met one of your sisters, right? From where? Well, because you had visitors that your family.
You met Karina, who is she is my host sister from my year in Venezuela.
Yes.
She lives here in Florida.
Yes.
Yes, I do have a sister who's adopted, who I doubt anybody who didn't meet her in my past probably will never meet her. That is a story not for the podcast.
No, but you call her sister, so it is. That is what it is.
Yes. And she is my sister. Yeah.
Just like you're my sister now.
Yes.
You're lots of sisters.
So not to change subjects, I love your mug. That's very cute. I never saw that trend of sister mugs, but that's cool. But I just want to share like a really fun story from today. Okay. So I was on a Zoom call with a meeting about this podcast. So who knows, maybe something to come. But I heard the gate and I was thinking, that one of the other people that's in this space was coming in to see clients or something. But I go out and there's nobody here. And I walk further out to check, like, is there someone in the parking lot or something? And because it's mango season here in Florida, and there is a beautiful mango in the back corner. It's not on our property, but it hangs over the property here. And so the mangoes fall into what I call the backyard. And so I've had these mangoes. They are super delicious, sweet, no strings. And so I want people to enjoy them. But I also have my own mangoes because I have 2 mango trees at home. So I really didn't need the mangoes from here this year. So, but I collect them and I put them out on the table out front for anybody who wants to take some home to help themselves. So as I'm like out there trying to figure out like what was this noise, I look down at the mangoes and there's a bunch of mangoes mixing. And there's a cute little note, which I know it's not coming through very well on the screen, but it says, "Thanks, so good, a treat." So I was like so touched that like they left this little note. I'm so glad that somebody that is appreciating those mangoes took them, but I'm still very curious, like, who was that? How did they know the mangoes were there?
Yeah.
Because, we sit way back from the street. So how did they know that they were there? How did they know to take them? I don't know.
Wow.
The fact that they left this thank you note, like, just touched my heart. I'm so happy.
That is touching. I'm so glad they left you a note because I appreciate that. And people just walking by, it is your heart to see. They have to walk through the parking lot to come towards those mangoes. So they found you. The person that meant to find those mangoes did. And it's a lovely thing to share because mangoes, how plentiful they are. I appreciate the ones you give to me because I'm enjoying them. Sometimes we don't have them in the backyard. So nice.
Well, and mangoes are interesting to me because they are a very, I don't know, I want to say a polarizing fruit. People either love them or they hate them. Yeah. And there are a lot of people that are allergic to them. And so that's just a thing. You're allergic and you can't have them.
Right.
But those that aren't allergic, people either love them or they hate them. And I don't know why. And like, to me, they are like so incredibly delicious. Mm-hmm. I love that I have them growing I have one tree in the backyard and one tree in the front yard. The front yard tree this year literally is giving us one mango. It's still sitting there, like not quite ripe enough yet to pick, but almost there. But I'm laughing because I planted these trees, both of them, like 5 years ago at the same time. They were the same size. And they're both dwarf mangoes. So it's not like one is a regular mango and one's a dwarf. They are both dwarf mangoes. They are different varieties, but the one, like you've seen them, the one in the front yard is tiny compared to the one in the back. Right. I don't understand. Understand.
Right.
Hi, Gianna. She loves our new cover photo.
Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you.
For those not in the know, that lovely thumbnail they call it on YouTube. The YouTube thumbnail has one of the photos from our recent photo shoot that Teresa and I did. They actually got those back fast because that was Friday, right?
They did. I was so happy because I was like, "Ooh, let's use those as soon as possible." So they're awesome.
Friday, Teresa and I did a mini photo shoot so that I can have some images of us to use to promote the podcast and promote our upcoming retreat in October. And there's other fun things coming up, like in August, we have our rose ceremony and sound bath that Drea will be joining us for that. I'm going to do the tea ceremony. Teresa's going to do the toning, and Drea is going to do the instruments. That is going to be a super magical event. And now that I have professional pictures of you, I have something to work with to promote this event. Yes. So I'm super excited about that. But it was fun. And so keep your eyes tuned for all the exciting images that were created in this photo shoot.
Yeah, chock full excitement here. Love it. Finally, right? So now my kids don't have to say, "Let AI." That's why
real photos now, real photos.
As hard as it was, right, to let go, I look fine in those. I'm working on myself.
You got this. You got this.
So
I got you. Yes. I got you. So anyway, like we can babble all day, but we've got a great topic today.
We do.
This episode is, can you still hear yourself? And you know, the world is really, really noisy out there. And you know, I mentioned this a lot of times, that inner voice, that intuition, that higher self speaking to us, that is such a sacred feminine quality.
True.
And living in this greatly imbalanced patriarchal world times that we're living in, that voice gets muffled.
Yeah.
It really gets muffled. And so there are some people that are really good at listening to it and hearing it. And then there's a lot of us that need to be reminded, like some people don't even know that voice exists. And so they need to be reminded that there is that inner voice that guides them, that's full of wisdom and can really support them on this journey. And so we talk about it a lot here and there in our episodes. Yeah. I was like, we need a whole episode dedicated to this topic.
Yeah.
And so,
I think, and I think it stems from, you know, us trusting ourselves. So why don't we trust ourselves? You know, that's the first look at it. And I think I mean, number one for me is the childhood conditioning and how we grew up and what we were trained to think like, act like, do. We needed conditioning because we were trying to develop into our own person. So a lot of us don't break out of that, and trusting ourselves to make a decision for ourselves, because we're so apt to look for that other individual. So it first started with our parents, right? And then what do? We went to the school and we trusted teachers and asked teachers for advice. Or, we come from a big family system. So it was the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles. Everybody had advice for us. Everybody had indications for how they grew up and what they felt, what we should feel, how we should be or act, or the decisions that we should make according to their experience. What happened?
You're saying that word so much.
So, and that's it. And then, right, we should all over ourselves. But the shoulding and the telling of what we should do, and that's really how we became fearful of even making our decisions, fearful of making a mistake, because our parents, our grandparents, everybody else knew better than us. They lived on this earth longer, so they knew what to tell us and how to do it, right? So we kind of went to the authority always. And this is the trust problem.
Well, and I want to take this even back even further.
Okay.
Just from when we were kids. But, in ancient times, people were tuned in to their inner voice and their intuition. And that's how we survived as a species and came to stay inhabited on this planet.
They did.
But then at some point, I'm going back to the witch trials and all of this, don't you dare have intuition. Don't you dare, receive divine guidance, because that's not allowed. That's a sin, and you're gonna
that's
be
right.
burned at the stake,
that's
drowned,
right.
hung, whatever.
That's
and
right.
So humanity in general shut down their intuition out of fear, because it's dangerous to have intuition. And so all of that was shut down, and then people had to operate from experience. And of course, those that are older have more experience, so they have more wisdom, they have more expertise, and so they have to be listened to.
Yes, they do.
And nothing, fortunately, there are people out there that are just naturally tuned in. They don't have to work hard to access that. And so, those people helped bring it back, since they stopped burning witches. Okay, little by little, people are bringing back the intuition.
Oh, those witch wounds. Oh,
but can you imagine? And this is part of the future that I see, that I stay here doing the work that I'm doing, because I see a future that's different for humanity. And part of that is teaching children tune in and be able to recognize what is their intuition, what is that voice that they should follow. Because we do know there's that divine intuitive voice, and then there's the ego on the other side, trying to talk you out of things, scare you, whatever, stop you from moving to your highest self.
That's right.
And so, sorry to put you on a spot, I'm going to ask you a question for our audience. For you, how do you recognize the difference between, is this my ego and fear speaking to me, or is this my higher self, my intuition that's guiding me?
Yeah, and that is an excellent question. And for everybody out there listening, if you're not practiced at this question, that is the key point here: intuition versus fear. Where are you going on a constant basis? Because wherever you're going is what you're reinforcing in your life and how you make your decisions. So if you're running on fear and going out there to everybody who you think knows better and has advice for you, because there's a lot of people, right, that we kind of, again, here goes your power, right? But you're going external for the advice, for the mentor, for the person who knows better than you. And so you're not giving your intuition that ability to take hold as the decision maker. And so I have done my best as I grew older. And I kind of feel like I was always a little bit more independent than some. I mean, there are people who are not, and there are people who gather all of the opinions they possibly can before making their decision. And I sort of wasn't that way to begin with, but I did it some. I absolutely did it. The older I get, though, I'm going, all right, I'm asking myself, is this a fear-based answer that I'm getting? Let me sit with it. Is it feeling right to me, not to somebody else? Because inevitably I get opinions. I get opinions from my partner. I get opinions from my mother, my kids, my friends. And I sit with it. And I quiet my mind. I quiet my external. And if I've got to write it down or think about it, I'm not much of a journaler, but I'm more of a sound it out and think it quietly in my meditative space. I have music, but there's no words because a lot of it is tone for me. So if I could just sit and listen to tone, I'm going to get the answer inward. And so that's my practice, is going inward to find the answer. So, and also I know that if somebody says something to me that doesn't feel right to me, I'm going to pull back. I feel it in my body. I retract. That doesn't feel right. So, in relationship, whether it's friends or, whoever, coworkers, family members, I know what sits right for me because I'm practiced at the reception in the relationship. I receive what they're saying. I let it sit. Does it feel right for me? Is it serving to me as an individual? And if not, I can table it and I can say, that's right for them, but it's not right for me. And I'm okay with that. So that's my practice. I've got to feel it. I've got to know it within my heart and my mind, both congruent together. That's another thing I've learned, is that it could sit right in my heart. My mind's not agreeing. Or my mind can say, this is logical sense. This should be, because that's where the should happens here. And my heart goes, I'm not feeling good. Or my gut goes, it's making my stomach not right. So those centers in my body are where I go to for my intuitive hits. So
yeah, I think, first of all, I want to make sure everybody out there knows that if you're listening to this podcast, you are intuitive. Like,
yeah,
everybody has it. Does it come easier to some people than others? Absolutely. But this is something that everybody has. We are all intuitive beings. Mm-hmm. And so where I see people getting stuck is like, they think they get a message. And so I don't know, quit your job. There's a better job coming.
Yeah.
And so, but then they hear the voices, they reach out to other people, and they get in that fear state. And then they take that fear state as their intuition telling them not to do what they were going to do. So then they don't quit the job, and then this beautiful opportunity comes by that they can't take advantage of because they didn't quit the job. I'm not telling anybody out there to quit your job.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Maybe. But the point is like that ego state, that fear state, it has a different feeling to it. Yeah. Like our true intuition, to me, it is quiet, it's gentle, it's smooth, it feels right. But then people, they get that fear and they think that fear is also their intuition. It's a completely different feel.
Yeah.
And yes, does it take some time to be able to sort the two out? Which is my higher self, which is my intuition, which is my ego and my fear? like, yes, it can take some practice to recognize the
Yeah.
differences in them.
Yeah.
But your intuition, your all-knowing higher self
Mm-hmm.
communicates to you differently
Mm-hmm.
than ego and fear.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, yes, at times it can be helpful to seek advice or opinions of others. Like, I'm not saying don't ever do that, but whatever they tell you is going to be what's true for them.
Mm-hmm.
And what is
Exactly.
true for them doesn't mean that it's true for you.
Exactly. That's the biggest point here, is trusting that your path may be different from the path of the advisee, right? Your path is unique to you. What's right for you is right for you. What's right for them that you're asking is right for them. I mean, I think that's where we get into the problem, is that we forget that we're different individuals here on a different path than everybody else. You're unique. You are unique individual. Your higher self is unique. Although, your higher self is part of the whole, is part of the oneness, is part of the collective. We are all part of each other. And when we receive information, it does come from that. So I'm not saying that it's not good information, but yet we're here to be individual to our path. So we're here to learn how to direct ourselves on our individual path directly from our higher self. That's what we're here for. And so I always say, if you're fearful of making mistakes, there are no mistakes. There are only lessons. So if you are in a fear-based situation, in a fear-based decision-making process, and you go ahead and go, oh my gosh, maybe I should do what they said. There's your fear. You picked it. You picked it for a reason. And if you don't learn that reason that you picked it, and you realize it was out of fear, and you realize it didn't sit with you, and you realized, that you chose a fear-based decision from another person's perspective, then you miss the lesson. And you may have to go through it again. And that's the thing that I realize over time, and it is practice. It's practice. So, I mean, if you run out of fear and you run on fear, I should say, and make that decision, don't think you made a fear-based mistake decision. Learn from it. Don't judge yourself so harshly. It's just time to, hey, let's sit with what I just learned about myself. And then reconnect to your intuition and do the process that works for you, which our community will encourage. Yes? I know that you've encouraged for me, and hopefully I have done that for you or for somebody else in the community. It's like throwing ideas out there and seeing what sticks. You want to do that for somebody else as advice or a friend, of course. Here's how I see it. And then you can sit there and you can see what they're battling with or their thoughts, how it sits with them, and process them through that. Not take them in the direction you think that they should go. Because that's another mistake I shouldn't say mistake, but a mistake from the advisee.
Just as you're speaking to this, like,
yeah.
For me, this is one of the biggest clues, is like when someone is trying to tell you that their way is the only way, that their way is the right way.
Yeah.
That is the giant red flag. And, I tell people all the time, like, this is just how I see it. And if that resonates with you, awesome.
Right.
Go with it. Yeah. And if it doesn't resonate with you, also awesome. Like, acknowledge that in yourself and go the direction that does resonate for you. Like that, to me, that is the sign of a true leader, is when they're not like rigid. It's my way. That's the only way.
Yes.
And it's been interesting for me, like on this journey, and, I can look back, 30 whatever years ago when I started on this path, and, the things that I learned at the time and that things that I was holding as truth for me at the time. Like some of that I look back and like, oh my God, that was ridiculous. That to me that seemed so right at the time. But as you shift and grow, like you outgrow certain things, which that's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
But lately I've been experiencing for myself, because my social media feed is full of spiritual kind of stuff, and I'm a fan of Gaia TV. I'm like watching these shows all the time. But lately what's been interesting to me is like someone will come on and will speak and will say things that I'm like, wow, yes, I like what they're saying. This resonates. And then, so then I start like following them and I'm like, okay, like, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden they will put something out there that is like, whoa, red flag for me. And like, I have these moments where like, do I have it wrong? Do they have it right? And then I have to remind myself, there is no right, there is no wrong.
No.
There's not. And it's really just about choice and living your truth.
That's right.
And my truth doesn't have to be your truth, and your truth doesn't have to be. There is no one truth. And I think that's so hard for so many people to understand.
True. True.
So if your intuition is guiding you a direction that other people are saying, no, that's not right, it's not right for them.
For them. That's it. That's it.
Exactly.
It's not right for them. You're a different individual.
It's not right for them doesn't mean it can't be right for you.
Correct. Exactly. And yes, well said. Well said.
So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, once you know that, you can say, all right, that doesn't sound right to me. I'm going to go this way. And you practice that ability to do that. You're coming back to yourself. You're coming back to the decision-making process from an intuitive standpoint, right? Straight up to higher self, I'm going to say, not out to every opinion in the world. So I think just to give our audience a little bit of direction on this, and if you're not practiced at it, it's like practice making the small decisions from your own sense of self, from your own tuition. It doesn't have to be huge. It's like what feels right to you now in the moment today. Which invitation is in alignment with you? Which small decision strengthens the trust in you and your ability to make that decision? That's what you have to start with. I mean, it could be as easy as, do I want cacao or coffee? And Julie has to say cacao, right?
But I also 1,000% acknowledge that cacao isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
Me who sits there and experiences the gifts, all of the gifts that cacao has given me. Thank you, cacao. And it isn't for everyone. And that is completely okay. I'm not going to judge you if you don't drink cacao. Maybe just a little. and no, but I'm all joking aside. Like, no, I'm not going to judge you if you don't. Absolutely. Am I going to sing from the rooftops? Like,
yeah,
give it a try because the benefits of cacao are amazing.
Yes.
But no, I'm not going to judge you if cacao is not for you, if coffee's your thing, or maybe tea is your thing. Like,
yeah.
But the other side of this is, don't just drink coffee because everybody else is drinking coffee.
Yes, 100%. Try it. It's like, try the cacao, try the coffee, try things, see how it sits with you. That's the real key.
The other thing I want to talk about, because it's in my practice, in my meditation, I'm like, man, if anybody had to spend a day in my head, they would probably like just lose their mind. But but one of the things that I've been sitting with a lot lately is, because I'm all about remembering. I'm all about authenticity. I'm all about
Yes.
freedom, sovereignty, and recognizing even in my own space where I do feel so much freedom to choose what I want and to be who I am and not worry about what else is out there, I can see the limitations that come from the programming and the experiencing only of what is. And it limits us to what we've never experienced before, the possibilities, the infinite possibility. We are so limited that things have to be the way that the collective has experienced them so far.
Yeah.
And I really see coming forward in these times, like we are going to start experiencing things that are beyond what imagination has allowed us to experience before. Like
I
it's
love that.
because people are breaking out of that, this programming that's here. And so I'm just sharing this so that like if a spark of something comes to you that you're like, this can't be possible because I haven't witnessed it out there. Like it is possible. The fact that it sparked in you means that it is possible. And if that is calling you, follow that through.
Yes.
Whatever that spark is.
Yes.
Because what's out there in the 3D is not the limit, the limitations of possibility. There is so much more possible out there. And like, you don't need my permission, but I'm giving you permission to explore that.
I love that. I love the permission. You crack me up when you say that. But sometimes it's like you just need that little wake up. You got permission.
Push.
That little push.
I'm a pusher. Like,
yeah.
You just need
to
you
push me. For sure you push me. And that's good. Here I am sitting with you from that little bit of a push, or I'd still be just teaching, coming home, doing my thing, and I think we do that for each other. I think that, that's what community is all about. And when you get with the like-minded people who are going to nudge you in the direction that feels good to you, which is all about following your passion. And I know Juliet and I watched something this morning to bring us back to that, because we listen to the same people and channels. But, there is that spark that she's talking about within each of us that may be slightly different, maybe haven't thought of it, and then all of a sudden it pops in and whoa, this is so awesome. I want to do this. And I'm going to speak to it for a second in real life. What was it? 2 years ago, you brought me to a sound healing. I've got some singing and toning going on. I'm like, I want to do that. And here I am doing it today. And all I needed was a little bit of a spark, an opening, an awakening to something that I really didn't know what was out there. But once it just came into my awareness, I said, that's me. That's what I love to do. That's what I want to do. And I did. And, and it just took, Julietta introduced me to a sound healer, right? Something like that. And then, okay, here's an opportunity. Why don't you sing? Why don't you do whatever? Okay, I'll do it. Let's try it out. What the heck? And, and it just kind of enveloped me. And I'm so happy to share my toning and my singing, and even my voice. I've been working on my voice for a long time. So even this podcast is a platform to share my voice. So if you out there want a little nudge, want a little exploration, break out of your shell a little bit, find your passions, and you need some encouragement, I'm telling you, I experienced it myself, body and soul.
A little bit, because a lot of times people think that their intuition is coming to them as a voice in their head. You're going to hear someone talking to you and telling you, hey, you got to turn left at the corner there because your future lies over there. And for some people, yes, it does come through as a voice. Sometimes it's your own voice. Sometimes it's another voice that's coming through. And for some people, yes, that's how it comes.
Mm-hmm.
In general, that is not how it comes to me. And, we talk about the clairs,
Yes.
clairvoyance is the word most commonly used for
Right.
tuning into your intuition or psychic abilities, as some people would like to call it. I don't like to use that word because there's a lot of weird charge around the psychic word, but your intuition, yes, if you're clairaudience, you may hear a voice or
that's not me.
Sounds or whatever. If you're clairvoyant, you might see images that are guiding you, telling you which way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Clairsentience is you feel things. You were speaking earlier about feeling it in your gut and feel it, like you feel it in different parts of your body.
Yeah.
There's claircognizance, which is just the knowing, which is typically how most stuff comes to me. It's just like it just pops in and it's there. And where did it come from? I have no idea where it came from, but it's this deep knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get theirs through, I don't know how to say it correctly, Claire olfactory.
Your olfactory sense.
Claire olfactory.
Yeah.
Some people are clair gustatory, that it comes as a taste.
Right.
It can come in through any way. And so I'm throwing that out there so that people know that this information, your intuition, can speak to you through so many different channels, and to just be open. And like, if something comes at you and you think it's a message, it's a message.
It's a message.
You might have to translate it, figure out what it means. And, so sometimes it comes directly to you, but spirit also tries to communicate you externally as well. Like for me, I've talked about this a lot. Like I pay attention to the animal kingdom. I think a few episodes ago, we talked about, there was an iguana sitting on my screen in front of my desk. Like, there is never an iguana there. I'm like, look, I've been in this space for 2.5 years now. I sit in front of my window, practically every day. I have never, until that one day, found an iguana on the screen there. Like, to me, that's like, hello, iguana is speaking to me. And so I do know the iguana message, because iguanas come to me all the time, and their message is pay attention to your dreams. And I'm not going to lie, I don't remember what my dreams were around that time of that iguana, but I was paying attention then because the iguana told me to.
Yeah.
And, but a message can come to you through lyrics on a song that pops up on the radio, or it can be you're watching TV and it could be a line in a movie that hits you in a certain way. Like these messages can come through. Sometimes you're having a conversation with someone and they say something that hits you in a different way than just the conversation that you're having, or you overhear somebody saying something, like you're not even in their conversation, but you overhear these words that, like, that they were meant for you. So it's like, you have to be open to this and allow yourself to receive it when it comes in. And the more you receive the messages, the easier it becomes for them to come in. And that's how it starts to become easy for you. But you have to allow and let it in. And, I have to say, for myself, I don't feel that I'm particularly gifted in that arena. It's more just I have been open to receive, and that allows it to come in. And I'm, however source wants to communicate to me, I am open to receiving it. And so rather than questioning and doubting, I'm just like, okay, let's follow through and see where it leads.
I love that. But it takes practice, right? I mean, over time, allowing, receiving, listening, whatever it is, and then trusting that message is for you. It doesn't, sometimes doesn't come overnight, but it's just that little bit of practice and trusting it. When you get it, trust it. When you get it, trust it. When you get it, trust it. And then you're going to create that pattern of trust. And that's really what it takes. I mean, we're coming from years and years and years of maybe doing this. Hello, so lovely, Rose. Hi.
Thanks for tuning in, Rose. So good to see you.
Yes. So I think it's the practice. I think, maybe we are practiced at it, but we started somewhere, and that's what everybody has to understand. If you've never done this before, start being a little more centered, whether it's through your body, it's through your listening, it's your mind. And I agree, I'm more clairsentient. I get the sentient, I get the knowing, so those are my two. I don't, not necessarily audio or audient, but every once in a while a song does come on, because of the songs I listen to, what perfect messages that sometimes come through for me is great. It's great, but it is giving yourself a little quiet and a little receiving time. And I love that you said that. The receiving is huge.
Well, and I think it's important to, like you mentioned, finding the quiet, because the world out there right now is so busy, so busy. And people are constantly running and doing, and like, it's important to carve out that quiet time.
Yes, it is.
Even, it's interesting. My dad growing up would never have the radio on in the car. And except for like, if we were all in the car, we're like, come on, like we're driving 2 hours to grandma's house, like turn the radio on. Like, we need some music in here.
Right.
But my dad always in silence in the car. And, like I said, when I was younger, I had like all this judgment around it. But now I actually find myself sometimes that I will not turn on the radio, and I'm in my car in the quiet, and it feels so good.
So good.
And it is just this space to receive what comes through.
It is.
And so if you're struggling to tune in, like, I really invite you, even if it's just 5 minutes, to carve out 5 minutes of silence, uninterruption, and see what comes through.
Oh, yeah.
The other one too, that like a lot of where things come through to me is, you said you're not a big journaler, but just sitting down and writing. And some days I'm sitting down and I'm writing, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to write today. And like, I don't feel particularly inspired. And I just start writing the nonsense. And then out of nowhere, other words end up on my paper. And I'm like, wow, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But it was just like, it's kind of like the trusting of the writing. Like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm trusting that something is going to come from it.
Yeah.
And so, some people like to call that automatic
writing. Right.
I'll trust whatever comes through, and don't try and control it. Don't try and just see what happens. There's so many beautiful practices out there that you can use to start to develop this relationship with your intuition, with your higher self, with source. And you need any support with that, you know where to find us.
Yes.
So
we want you listening. We want you listening, and we want to support you. And the more often you listen, the more easy it all flows in. And, we get to see your authentic self, nobody else's path to be lived. So that makes us happy, makes our heart happy, and makes the collective happy. Because as we practice it, we're expanding and all helping each other. So
walking each other home.
That's it.
So what I do want to say, because we're in that phase, I am here plugging our retreat. Yeah. We have a 4-day women's retreat, October 15th through the 18th. Like, if you want support on these skills, this is the kind of place to come and do it. Like, 4-day intensive of learning to tune in to yourself, remember your truth, ignite your passion. Like, this is how it happens. And what makes me so sad is that as women, so much of the time we choose to give to everybody else. We put everybody before ourselves.
Yes.
And if you hear about this retreat and like something twinkles and you're like, oh, I wish I could, but if you've got like a list of buts, like, that is exactly the reason You need to stop. Okay, you need to stop shitting on yourself, and you need to stop butting on yourself. That's my new one. No butting on yourself. You know?
Yes, I
Because
get it.
it's time. It's time. The universe, the people who love you, your partners, your children, your family, your
Yeah.
friends, they all need you
Mm-hmm.
to take care of you and put you first.
That's true.
And so this is such a beautiful opportunity. And if you're afraid to do it alone, you can still get the bring a friend discount, which is like the impossible discount that I'm giving to people. But I chose that because I want, when I see the women on the other side of these retreats, I just want this for every woman. I want this for every woman out there. And so I was like, how can I get more women there? And so that was the inspiration of hearing my intuition. Make your biggest discount to bring a friend.
That's
That
great.
means if one person's coming, two people are coming.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I'm super excited about this. So if you want more information about it, it's on our website, Body and Soul Events.love. Yes, there are .loves. If you want a .love, you can get one. Like, because love is where it's at, man.
That's it. Love it.
You got anything else?
Nope. I think it's a good close. We're at 47.
All right.
Wow.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you think someone else needs to hear what we were talking about, please share this episode with them. Yes. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, comment. All of that stuff helps boost us to the top. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, and I wish you all a magical day.